This is slightly ridiculous because it's the absolute inverse to the northern end of the Jubilee Line. Up at Stanmore, it's quite quiet. Here, at this station, it's incredibly busy with loads of people. Loads of trains pass through here, but the Jubilee Line at its southern end does terminate here. It's end of the line at Stratford.
So if you like crowds of people, then you too could come to Stratford, arriving either on one of two tube lines, the Elizabeth Line, the Overground or the DLR. It even has two bus stations, one to the north of the station and one to the south. That's how popular and busy it is. And it's most likely that you're here for the Olympic Park or the Westfield Shopping Centre. But also, don't forget the other place to shop, that's the Stratford Centre, which is across from Stratford's main entrance. Okay, first things first, pub quiz question. Stratford has the shortest escalator on the whole of the Underground, two of them in fact identical, with a vertical rise of 4.1 metres, taking you up from the Jubilee Line level to the Central Line level. And then, when you get to the Central Line, the other classic fact at Stratford is how Central Line trains open their doors on both sides here, platform 3 on one side and platform 3A on the other, meaning you can walk through a train from one side to the other.
And that is the fastest way to cross through the train rather than use the stairs.
You'll note there that I said platforms 3 and 3A. That's because Stratford's platforms are really confusing. So let's try and unconfuse them. From north to south, platforms 1 and 2 are used by the London Overground. Platform 12 and 11 I think are Greater Anglia. 10A, we'll get to that in a second. 9 and 10 are definitely Greater Anglia services to Colchester and Southend. Platform 8 is the Elizabeth Line eastbound. Platform 7, well, there is no Platform 7. Platform 6 is the Central Line eastbound. Platform 5 is the Elizabeth Line westbound. Platforms 3 and 3A are the Central Line westbound, as you just saw. Platforms 4, technically split into 4A and 4B, are the DLR to Canary Wharf, whilst platforms 13, 14 and 15 are Jubilee Line platforms to Stanmore, but even one of those isn't used, as we'll see in a minute, and then platforms 16 and 17 are the DLR platforms to Stratford International and Canning Town. Phew.
Stratford has quite a lot of corridors in this sort of subterraneanness down here. You know, you worry about people getting lost in the woods or, you know, in the jungle. I say there's probably people that have entered this station years ago and are still trying to find their way out from the corridors. It's confusing. I'm on the lesser used platform 12. There is a train in a little while. It's just occurred to me that I'm making a fuss about Stratford because it's end of the line Jubilee, which we'll get to in a minute, but it's also right there, it's the end of the line for the Overground here as well. This is one of the strangest parts of Stratford station because having spoken about how busy it is and there's loads of people everywhere, there's this triangular area of platform here between platforms 10A, not 10, 10A and 11, where there's a lot of space and not a lot of people around. And I was all set and ready to do a big spiel about how I've never seen a train leave from platform 10A, what is platform 10A used for, if anybody knows what platform 10A is used for, and then tell me and put it in the comments. But I've just seen there is a train. I've come quite late in the evening. There's an 8:55 heading up to Braintree, but that is the first time that I've ever seen this platform, I think, in use. Have you ever used platform 10A at Stratford?
I'm heading down to the Jubilee Line, where there's also something new that you might not yet know about at Stratford. But before that, just a quick shortcut. My favourite one at Stratford is that off the western end of platforms 3 and 5, there's a sneaky passage here which takes you through to the DLR. Not many people use this, and it's one of my favourite shortcuts to use. Okay, down to the Jubilee Line concourse, and if you look where the Jubilee Line platforms are, and then turn to your right, you'll see that Stratford has a brand new entrance.
And this is the new entrance / exit behind me. Stratford station, right there, comes out onto Gibbons Road. I'm led to believe that this used to be a staff car park, and it's now been paved over. There are some nice benches here. There's a rack over there, and it just leads you out to Gibbons Road, which is over here. New entrance, exciting at Stratford.
Outside the station, it's still busy. In fact, in the first set of reporting figures after COVID lockdown, Stratford was actually Britain's busiest station for a whole year, but has now slid down that list. It's also outside here where you'll spot this locomotive. This is Robert, a saddle tank loco, built in 1933 for an ironstone railway in Northamptonshire, was then later acquired by the London Docklands Development Corporation before ultimately being owned by the London Borough of Newham, who in the year 2000 put it here outside the station to commemorate the area's long association with railways here at Stratford. The first Eastern Counties station was built here in 1839.
Immediately outside Stratford Station, down on the ground here, there's a thing. Can you see it says Meridian Line? Meridian Line, there. But there's a better place to go and see it, which we'll find in a minute.
Yes, because we do need to discuss the end of the line here for the Jubilee and its 3 platforms, except usually only 2 are in use.
So, end of the line, Jubilee, and there are 3 platforms there, 13, 14 and 15, where Jubilee Line trains all terminate. Now, for many years, all 3 platforms are used, and then a while back, TfL said that platform 13 was no longer being used and only platform 14 would be used, and you never saw a train, 14 and 15 would be used, and you rarely saw a train on platform 13. However, today there is a train in on platform 13, and despite there being a sign saying basically this platform not in use between 7 in the morning until 11 at night, there are some people sat on there thinking it's going to leave, but I think that the train is only going to leave from platform either 14 or 15, and there's always this amusing game. It's like a bit of a dash, a bit of a sprint. You're in the concourse, you look at the sign, it says it's leaving in a minute, and then people like run across the concourse to try and get to the train before it departs. It's quite tricky to catch a train at Stratford.
It's often a favourite thing of mine to find a view from a station from a bridge not too far away. There is a footbridge nearby, but it's got one of those grills wrapped all around it, making it hard to see through. So if you make an extra effort to go 2 minutes down to where Stratford High Street is, that's where the best vantage point of Stratford Station is.
So it's a summer July evening when I'm recording this, and I've deliberately timed my visit today to be now, just as the sun is starting to set, and over there's quite a nice view of the station and the shops. Yes, this is the point to come to get the good view down onto the tracks. Bonus points if you can get a shot of 3 trains in at all 3 platforms. I think that's quite hard to do. Didn't we do that at Morden in that end of the line episode? I think we did. I'm aware that there's loads of Stratford here that you could talk about. The fact that, the DLR, Stratford High Street Station is just over there. I've walked here in 2 minutes. It's even quicker to walk to Stratford International Station, but there's so much going on at Stratford. There's a lot to squeeze in, but I hope I've shown you a lot of what is going on here. So I'm just going to sit and watch the trains with the sun setting. Press subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you again. Bye.